right. Hey, you guys, can you hear me okay? All right, I am live now. I figured this thing out finally. How's everybody doing? Can you guys hear me? Yes, no? All right. Someone let me know if you can hear me. Mm, mm. Let's see. Why is my microphone not working? Mm. Okay, you can hear me. Someone tell me you can hear me. Okay, awesome. How's everybody doing tonight? Man, I tell you, thank you guys. I got a lot of awesome questions that you guys have written in, and I'm going to share some with you guys and answer them the best I can. So I want to start with Roy. He wrote in and he said, if you could push the reset button on your life, knowing what you now know, would your journey still be the same or would it be different? Man, that's a great question. You know, people always say, if I could change something back then, what would it do now? But I've shared this question before. I've had this question before. And, you know, it's really ironic because I think about all the paths I took and all the paths we all take, whether it's good or bad, and making some bad choices along the way. All those choices led to where I am today. In fact, the mistakes I made they became learning experiences. So all those different paths I took ended up where I am today, and I couldn't be happier, more proud, fulfilled in my life. I mean, you always wish you had something different or whatever, but man, I am just blessed. I'm healthy. I'm 63 years old and I feel like I'm in my 30s. I mean, it's crazy. So the answer to that question is no. I wouldn't want to change anything that happened, good or bad. I really wouldn't change anything. So that's a great question. I really enjoyed getting that question. Okay, Amelia asked me. My question to you is: how do you tell fake friends you don't want to be their friend without them hating you? Well, I got to tell you, Amelia, you know, you've heard me share before. We become who we surround ourselves with, and it's unfortunate that there are people in life that are just not real. You know what I mean? That I said today on something I did. I said it's better to be slapped with the truth than kissed with a lie. And I don't think you should really worry about what fake friends think or say about you. Get on with your life, be proud of who's looking back at you in the mirror, and just do the best job you can do without worrying about what other people say or do or care about. You're not defined by their opinion in your life. So that was a great question. Let me see, man. Let me mark these off as I go on. I got so many of them on here. Bam, bam. Um, okay. I got a couple of the same questions. Joseph Hamilton and Eric McCurry, they kind of asked me the same questions. One of them was, what was your favorite wrestling match? Well, I actually got a few of them. The one that really stands out, the late great Flying Brian. We had a match in 1995 at Fall Brawl that we went over 30 minutes, and it was just a back and forth match, and it was incredible. I was just so blessed and happy with that match, and it was one of my better matches. And also, I had some good ones with DDP. If you watch any of our pay-per-view matches with me against Diamond Dallas Page, man, those are nonstop matches. Let's see, other guys that I really enjoyed was Stone Cold Steve Austin, King of the Ring, semifinals of King of the Ring, where he stated the famous Austin 316. We had a killer match there, although I didn't win, but it was still a great match, one that really stands out. Wrestling with guys like Triple H, Steve Regal, people that I learned from Arn Anderson when I first got into the business, Raven, guys that I worked with early that really helped me become a better wrestler and a better worker. So that was good. So thank you guys for asking that. Let's see. Julie Chang's number one fan. This is from Twitter, okay? That's what she goes by, Julie Chang's number one fan. She says, why did you and Sable Rena, my ex-wife, agree to have her powerbomb you on the floor when you were about to start a house show run with Stone Cold Steve Austin? Yes, I was scheduled to go into a program with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and then once she powerbombed me, it was canceled. Steve did not feel, and me and Steve, there's no hard feelings at all. I did his podcast. We've talked extensively about stuff, and I don't blame him. I understand his thought is like, if he's getting beat up by a girl, how am I ever supposed to hang with the best wrestler we had at the time in the Attitude Era? So I understand where Steve was coming from, but you have to understand where I was coming from. I was married at the time, and I had a guaranteed contract. I was making close to $400,000 a year. Remember, this is back in the 90s, so that's a lot of money back then. And Rena Sable was just getting over bigger and bigger. And me helping her get over, being the kind of the fall guy. Remember, I'm getting paid the same no matter what. And now her merchandise is second to only Stone Cold Steve Austin. So it was a financial decision we made. And of course, you think that, you're going to live the rest of your life, being happy, but you realize that it didn't always go that way. So 2020 is hindsight. Looking back on that, it's one of those things where you just say, well, at the time it was a pretty good idea. But anyway, like I said, all my past ended up right where I am today and just talking to you guys on YouTube. So thank you, Julie Chang's number one fan. Okay, let's see. Let me mark these off so I don't ask them over. Bam, bam. Okay, this is a pretty good one. This is from Todd Evan from Westbury, New York. Todd asked me, he says, my question is, how did you know it was time for a change in your life? And then he wants to know, what tools did you use to cope with your change? Guys, I, like many people that I help or counsel or share my story with, can relate to what I went through in my life. A little kid growing up in a poor section, single family home. My mom worked 2 jobs. We were very poor. And I dreamt of making it in life, becoming a professional athlete, becoming a millionaire, buying that black Cadillac and speedboat, all these things I dreamed about as a little kid. These are things I wrote down. I actually take the book that I wrote it to all my presentations, and I show people this book that I wrote, My Dreams and Goals, when I was 10 years old, that eventually would come true. And after obtaining all these things I thought would make me happy, I always thought financially that's what you need in life to be happy. And all that fame and success and things I had, becoming a multimillionaire, and all the things I thought were going to make me happy, it really took away from things that I missed in life, and that was relationships. Relationships are the most important things in life. My marriage went south. We went through a divorce and horrible financial decisions. But then I got into drugs again. After quitting drugs for so many years, I got back into drugs. Next thing you know, I'm just about, partying every day, drinking, doing drugs, and my life just spirals out of control. And I remember sitting, it was Christmas Day, and I had no place to go. And I drove to Cocoa Beach, Florida, and I sat under a pier on Christmas Day. And I just remember that. And I felt, and I think it's such a gift that I felt this way, because I understand how other people can fall into depression or anxiety or suicidal thoughts. I just remember thinking, man, I don't even want to be here no more. I was just so lonely and so broken and lost. And my body was just so beat up from wrestling. I've had over 14 surgeries now, and so many things were going wrong in my life. And I just remember that I didn't realize that Rock Bottom had a basement. So it was just a bad time. And I think that's when I really felt at that place where I just knew either I was going to die or I had to make a change. And I really challenge people to talk about what they're going through. The best thing I ever did was finally talk to someone about what I was going through. And it took that weight off my shoulders, and I got help, and my whole life changed. I gave my life to God and got on my knees and just asked for forgiveness. I forgave everything, everybody, and everything out there, including myself. And I found that, man, sometimes the hardest person to forgive is ourselves. we keep beating ourselves up over something, like God forgave it a long time ago when we asked him, but we just continue to beat ourselves up over something over and over again. So that's when I feel like my life changed at that point. And the gift I had was I wanted to help other people that were going through similar things, and kids that were bullied at school, or kids that were suffering from depression or anxiety, not just kids, but friends, family members, adults that are going through so many things. And that's why I make these videos just about every day of something on my heart or mind that I can share with people. And most of them are my own life experiences. So I want to just thank Todd for asking that question. Let me see. Is there any live ones? Maybe I can answer a live one here. Will you be coming to Canada? I sure hope so. I go to Canada just about every year, 1 or 2 tours. I really hope we're going this year. We are going to the UK. I want to announce that. I will be in the UK. I'm going up there in March 2nd and 3rd. I'm at a wrestling convention, but I believe it's the week before. We're going to be speaking at schools in Ireland and the UK. So if you are someone in the UK that's listening to this and you want me to come to your school, we're going to be all the way from Manchester to Ireland. So please reach out to me and we'll figure that out. And my buddy Van is on here today. She writes to me all the time on social media. She's a sweetheart. And Kim is on here. Kim L is my assistant. She just said that the last week of February, we're going to be in the UK. She knows all that. So if you see her, you can always befriend her because she has all our schedules. And if you want me to come to your school or corporation, reach out to Kim L. She just said hello to everybody. All right. Is there a question out here, man? You got some, let's see. Business. I wonder how you can judge. You just started a full-time, I work a full-time job. I've started my own business. I wonder if any recommendation how you can juggle both and minimize stress. Gabriel, that's a great question. I remember something I said to, I can't remember who this guy was, but I remember I said to him, I said, man, I'm so stressed. And he says, are you really stressed? And he hands me I can't remember where we were, but he had a bucket. I don't know if he got out of his car and he goes, here, go fill it with stress. I go, what do you mean go fill it with stress? He goes, you can't. See, stress is something we manufacture in ourselves. And maybe you're putting so much pressure on yourself, but I got to tell you, one of the things I see less and less is the work ethic in this country. And it's people like you that just, man, give us hope that people are, working 2 jobs. My mom worked 2 jobs, and seeing someone like you that not only works a full-time job, but now is starting their own business. And here's the good news. I believe your new business that you started is going to lead to you doing that full-time, where you can quit your other job and probably be financially secure in what you love doing. I hope it's your passion. It's something you really enjoy. So good luck with that. I really wish you the best with that. All right. Who's your biggest inspiration in life? Well, that one for me is very easy. It's my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I love God, and I don't get to talk to him as much as I would like to because many places we go to don't even allow you to say his name. But I let his love and light shine through me wherever I go. And I can't tell you how many people ask me or write to me, are you a Christian? And I love answering that question. So thank you. Thank you, guys. Okay. Hey, Mark, not a question, but wanted you to know, I feel you were underutilized and underrated as a wrestler, but the work you do now is amazing and special. Thank you. John Doe. Love that name, John Doe. There's a lot of John Does out there. John, I appreciate those nice comments. Thank you for your kind words. You look back on your career and you said, I wish I could have done this more. And a lot of it is, it's positions you're put in that you're maybe not utilized the way you hope to be. But I always gave my best. I really wanted to always try and have a good match. And many of our opening card matches were some of the best on the show. If you go back and look on some of our pay-per-views, especially when I opened up with guys like Triple H or DDP or Steve Regal. Man, we had some good ones. What is a? Can I ask a funny wrestling question? What is a funny story that you can share backstage? This is Flower N64. Well, a funny story I can share. Okay, well, here's one that comes to my mind. Was we all love Owen Hart? Okay, he's like the king of ribs. Okay, I was wrestling Davey Boy Smith, and we went in this locker room in the back that nobody was in because we wanted to talk about our match that we're about to have in just about 10 or 15 minutes. So we're in there talking, and all of a sudden we hear the door close, and we don't really think much about it. And now it's time to get ready and stretch out and get ready to go out, And Owen Hart put a padlock on the door. Nobody had the key. I was laughing so hard because I know how Owen is. And Davey was just swearing. He was so mad, telling Owen how he's going to kill him and beat the F out of him. And oh my gosh. And seeing the madder he got, the harder I was laughing. Well, of course, Owen completely denies everything. So anyway, long story short, we have to end up kicking the door open. And before that happened, my music started playing. In other words, I'm supposed to be walking out in front of this crowd, and we're listening to my music, and Davey's freaking out, And of course, we finally got the door open, and he runs, and we have to go and wrestle. So he's like, and Owen's sitting there just like nothing happened. And we knew later on it was Owen, but he was so good at it, man. But that's something I always remember, and some fun times with Owen Hart. All right, let me get back to some of these questions you guys wrote in about, okay? Okay, Brian asked me how I became a Christian. I grew up Jewish. A lot of people don't know this. I grew up Jewish. My name was shortened. It used to be Merowitz, and my grandfather, when he came over to this country, he shortened it to Merrow. But I grew up Jewish, and it wasn't until I was 21 when I first went to a charismatic church where I went up and gave my life to Christ. But of course, I backslid and did my own thing, got in drugs and alcohol, and really did some stupid things in my life. But then rededicated my life to God. In 2003 was when I came back and tried to live the best life possible to, kind of let his light shine through me in some way. I'm not perfect. I still make some stupid mistakes. I think we all do, and we all will until the day he calls us home. But all right, so thank you for asking that question. That was Brian Peckman. Let me just check that off. All right. Okay, let's see. Wow, this is a really powerful question. This is, let's see. Why do bad things happen to good people? Wow, man, that question really hits my heart. And I got to tell you, the one thing that I lost my little sister, she was only 21. My mother died at 58. 2 weeks later, my little brother passed on. He was only 21 also. And there was a time where he just questioned, why, God, why do you take such good people? Why do babies get cancer? Why do people we love die in a car accident, or people get shot or killed that we love and are such a contribution to this world? And we don't always understand it. And I really took solace in knowing that the Bible says we see through glass dimly now. We can't really figure out why things happen, but someday we'll understand it. I know God is love, and with that love, he gives us a free will. We all have a free will. We can do and say and choose to do things that we want to do because we have a free will. If we didn't have a free will, we'd be like robots, and our life would be perfect and nothing would go wrong, and we didn't have to have fellowship with him. So I try to take solace in that. I got to a point, and I understand people get mad at God. I was angry. I couldn't understand why do these things happen, but I've been through so much death. I've seen so many young people met with parents have lost their kids to suicide, to drug overdose, to car accidents. And I meet with these parents and I see the grief and the heartache but it's the parents that have faith that have gotten through this a lot easier in many situations. I'm not saying all situations, but in many times our faith gets us through our struggles, through our pain, we find our strength. Being a Christian is not easy. I mean, he never promised it was going to be an easy life. And if anything, it's probably a little bit more difficult because you are in a sense, hold yourself to a higher standard, and you try to do good, and you kind of get down on yourself when you don't do good. But when people die and you don't understand, it's tough. And I don't have the answer for that. All I can tell you is that I've been through it myself. But I know that we will someday know why certain things happen or why they did happen. Maybe God wanted maybe God wanted them with him more than they needed to be here. Maybe he knew something we didn't know. Who knows? You just never know. Let's see. I'm getting a question that's sent to my phone here. Let me see. Okay. Okay. Just kidding. Okay, there we go. Some good questions coming. Let me see. You came to my school. Hey, Mark. This is from Chloe. Chloe, I think. When you came to my school a couple months, you made an impact, a big one. When you go up and talk to kids about your story, how does that make you feel? Oh, that's a great question. There's no greater joy than helping another person. It's like I found my calling in life. Wrestling was something I enjoyed. I mean, boxing, football, hockey, all the sports I played, I enjoyed that, but they weren't my calling. And this is a fact where I feel like I'm most comfortable is being on that stage helping someone else. The coolest thing is getting all the letters from students after a presentation on students that say you changed or students that say you saved their life. Man, there's no greater joy than knowing that you can be used in some way to help another person. And that's why I love what I do. And believe it or not, this is my 17th year presenting at schools. This is going to be 17 years. Wow. And I tell you something really cool is that I got so many messages from students that saw me 10, 15 years ago. They're now a professional athlete, have a record deal, own their own business, started a family, whatever it is. It's just incredible to hear. And many times they'll say something like, the day you came to my school was the day it changed my life. I set goals. I took action towards my goals. And now I'm this, or I'm doing this, or I have this. And man, that's great to hear, because you just never know the impact you can make on someone's life. You never know what someone else is going through. So really be cheerful to other people, help people, smile more than you cry, give more than you take, and live life with an attitude of gratitude. Let's see. Jen wrote to me, hey, Mark, I recently lost my dad to dementia and Parkinson's in May. When you lost your mom, how long did the pain or guilt last? Well, Jen, first of all, I want to just say this, that what has helped me get through this, okay, or to get through it when I did, because you know the story about my mom where she waited up every night for me, hopefully just wanting to talk to me, and I blew her off so many times. And I lived with guilt for a while, but then I got to a point, listen, first of all, our parents loved us more than, there's no greater love than a parent's love other than God's love. And I knew how much my parents loved me, and I knew your parents loved you. And the worst thing we can do is constantly grieve and continuously mourn over their passing, because if they were here, they'd say, get on with your life. Get going, Jen. They'd be your biggest supporter. So they forgave you. My mom forgave me. And I'm sure they're so proud of what we're doing now in our lives. So please don't live with guilt. It's a cancer that destroys you. And I guarantee they forgave you. God forgives you. You just got to move on with your life. Don't hurt. Don't beat yourself up over it. All right. Oh, let's see. Team Saunas, you have so many quotes. I often post them on my Facebook. Thank you for sharing them. I really appreciate that. I got a lot of stuff that I hear or learn and kind of turn around into my own thing, or how I feel about something, or else I'll copy something that I really inspire. I live not too far, 20 minutes from Diamond Dallas Page. He's one of my closest friends, and just so proud of what he's doing in his life after wrestling. And he's so proud of what I'm doing after my life. And we get together. It's like we almost out inspire each other. It's like we have so much fun together. I'm going to go over his house this week and do some of his DDPY with him. And just a great guy. Again, if you get a chance, follow him, man. Check him out. He does those inspirational videos every day, and he's so good. He's so inspirational and just a great person, man. He loves people. I mean, what you see is a real deal, man. He really loves people. He loves helping people. And he has saved so many lives through his DDP yoga that he's just changed people's lives. So check him out. All right. Who's your Mount Rushmore of wrestlers? Oh, gosh. I know I'm going to get probably a lot of people upset with that one. That's a really hard one to choose only for. You got to put Hulk Hogan on there. I don't care who it is because he brought so much notoriety to professional wrestling. I mean, what's wrestling without Hulk Hogan? And then the next three are so difficult because there's guys like Bruno Sammartino that held the belt for many, many years that would go to, city after city and defend that belt. And, back then, those guys, we didn't have that, TV where millions of people are seeing. They had television, but it was like in local areas and stuff. So it wasn't as big as it is now. So they had to really, to get known, they had to really go from place to place. So Bruno Sammartino, for any of those who remember Bruno, he was one of the greatest also. He's him and Ric Flair. I mean, those guys are just, they're just war horses, man. They just went forever. And they'd have these hour matches every night. If we do a match now, you see you're out there for 5 or 10 minutes usually. It's not very long, but they were doing hour matches every night. So this is where it gets really hard because then you got guys like Stone Cold Steve Austin who brought a whole new attitude to wrestling that, man, some of the highest selling merchandise ever was when Steve was in the business. So he's another guy you got to think of. And of course, The Rock brought the entertainment aspect to it. There's so many others that are deserving of it. Bret Hart, my gosh, I don't know if this guy could have a bad match, I know there's so many I'm probably leaving out. And there's guys that I got to wrestle with that are just phenomenal. Guys like, Triple H was always fun to work with. Ric Flair was like a night off. It's like you just had to show up. He just about did everything. He almost took his own clotheslines. I mean, it was so easy to work with him. Going back, guys, I really enjoyed wrestling with. There's so many great ones. So I just can't come up with just 4. I just can't. I know, you got to put the Hulkster, Sammartino, Ric Flair. And if I had to pick one more, I'd say Stone Cold Steve Austin, only because I wrestled Steve probably because we were in WCW together as Stunning Steve Austin, and then of course WWE together as Stone Cold. And I probably wrestled him, man, with both companies probably a couple hundred times. We were toured so much together. Him, Triple H, and DDP are the 3 guys I probably wrestled the most, and they're 3 guys that really are just phenomenal, all deserving of Hall of Fame honors. And I think they're all in the Hall of Fame anyway. So, all right. A lot of people are giving their opinion, and I could certainly understand and agree with many of you guys. All right, let's see. Let me see if I got another question on here. Let's see. Okay, Suzanne Drews. Okay, when presenting at schools, you define toy. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I just got one on here. I just missed it. Let me go back here. So when presenting at schools, you define, do you ever have teachers reach out in the moment as well? Wow, that's a great question. Someone asked if teachers also reach out to me, and yes, we get a lot of teachers that are going through some really hard times. I mean, guys, you don't understand what our teachers are asked to do. They have to wear so many different hats now. They have to be disciplinarians. They have to be coaches. They have to be parents. They have to, be life coaches, be counselors. I mean, it's amazing how many things that a teacher has to do now. They don't just show up. They have to really be there for the students. And yes, I do get some very strong personal messages from teachers on how it changed their life. Recently, I got one from a teacher that hasn't spoken to their mother in 15 years or something like that. And they were just never going to speak again. And after I came to the school, she said, as soon as I got in the car, I had to call my mom and apologize. And we were going to be meeting for dinner. And it was one of those things where you just say, man, I was there at the right time. So great question, whoever asked that one. Let me get back to Suzanne Drew. She says, With all the schools you have visited and so many more to come, have you ever thought about asking to do school if schools would implement a think pause class as part of gym and health classes with maybe an after school club? I have talked about this, and it's so hard to get into the curriculum at schools. Schools need like schools, many schools have great counselors, counselors that help you college education and where to go and classes to pick and help you in different areas. But what we're lacking in schools after doing this for 16 years is mental health specialists. So many schools have a mental health specialist, but it's like they have one or two for the whole district. And it takes months to get an appointment with a mental health specialist where kids need it now. Kids that are suffering from depression or anxiety, being bullied or abused, they need it now. And I really wish they had a class in school, like in some schools are doing this, which is really cool. A mental health class where we could talk about this. Um, and that's something I would like to facilitate more, but unfortunately, once I leave a school, we leave them with questions and answers that we ask them to reach out to kids, because a lot of kids are emotional after my presentations. It's very powerful, touches a lot of kids' hearts, and kids open up and talk about their adversity, which is, I think, is where we are able to change and save lives by getting kids to open up. So many kids hold things inside, and when you hold something inside, it's like a volcano. And guys, sooner or later, that volcano is going to erupt. And it often erupts in negative behavior, whether it leads to depression, anxiety, bullying, or hurting other people because of the pain that you're going through. But it could also lead to horrible relationships with parents, with adults, with teachers. And I really encourage you to talk to someone. The mistake I made is I held things inside, man, and then they finally just blew up. And I got so sick of always having to go back to people that love me. I'm sorry for talking this way. I'm sorry for acting this way. And I had to make a change in my life. Let's see. So that was I hope I answered that question okay for you. Okay, let's see. Kimberly just wrote to me, says who was the one opponent? Someone asked, who was the one opponent you wish you could have worked with in your career, but never got there? Oh, that's a great question. Shawn Michaels. I mean, we tag teamed together in South Africa, but we never got to wrestle against each other because at that time we were both we'll call good guys. So we never got to wrestle against each other. But Shawn Michaels is one guy, man, with his style and my style. I think we got to really had some killer matches. So that's the one guy I remember that I wish I could have worked with. I did get to work with Davey Boy Smith in South Africa, and man, had a great match with him. Oh boy, I got to wrestle some of the greats, man. Really, any of the guys you could think of in the Attitude Era, I got to work with or wrestle with. But Shawn's the one guy I didn't get to wrestle against, which was unfortunate. All right, let's see if I got any more in here. What is one thing you wish you had said to somebody backstage during your wrestling career? I wish I had more of an attitude I have now. Like I really enjoy complimenting people, and maybe I wasn't complimentary enough with guys that would have a good match that walked by me or something. Just maybe say hey, good match, like just maybe really showing some how much I appreciated watching that match, or tell them what moves I enjoyed, or something a little more than just good match or something, or good job or something. I probably could have been more complimentary. What is one thing you think? What is one thing you think schools should do more of? That's from Brian Penna. I think I just answered that. I think they should have a mental health class in each school. I think we need that now. It's getting to the point. And guys, I got to tell you, we're seeing a lot of things happening. One of the things that's happening is with more fentanyl coming over our borders, we're seeing more and more young people overdosing on fentanyl. In fact, more and more police officers are carrying Narcan, which, if you get it in time, you can save a kid's life from overdosing on. But with this fentanyl, man, it's getting mixed in with everything. And I tell any young person, anybody listening to this, man, you don't know what you're purchasing. You don't know where it's came. You don't know what some side lab it's been made in. And so much stuff is being introduced with fentanyl in it. So please, please stay away from drugs. Please be careful. Man, this world needs you guys. All right. So I got most of my questions answered. I hope I got everybody. Let me see. Oh, I got a. Here's a good one. My buddy Vanna asked this question. Um, how do you handle breakup from a relationship? We all, man, everyone out there that's listening to this has had their heart broken at one time, or you have broken someone else's heart, and it's hard. It's not easy, but sometimes we get so angry or unforgiveness or mad or something. We're just so fixated on that door that just closed in our life that we often miss a door of happiness that's opening over here because we're so mad about this. Don't ever give up on love, man. Man, just forgive the person that wronged you. I found that, man, forgiveness is like it's not even so much freeing them; it's freeing yourself from anger, bitterness, resentment. It is the worst way to live because you find yourself angry all the time. So uh, try and just look at a breakup or whatever you went through with a relationship as a learning experience. You're so young. You're gonna break some more hearts, and you may get your heart broken down the road. But take each one. You can take a little piece from it and learn something from it. Maybe something the way they treated you that you say, "I'm never gonna put up with that again," or maybe the way you treated them, where you said, "I don't ever want to hurt someone like that again." So you can learn from those relationships. So take it as something good in your life that you learned something from it. If you didn't learn from something from it, you may make the same mistake over and over again. Okay. Hogan said wrestlers today look like they can pack his grocery bags. What do you think about the wrestling product today? I wouldn't go that far to say that. I think there's some great talent. I think some matches they're overdoing. In other words, there's so many flipping, flying high spots that you're not telling enough of a story. I love high spots. I love the flips off the rope and the floor, and I love that stuff. But there's a time and a place for it. But when you see 10 of them in a match, it's like overdoing it. Like these guys are just flip flop. It looks like a gymnastic meet. So I think we need more storytelling. And I think there's some guys out there that I really enjoy watching that tell great stories, and you can learn that from watching some of the older tapes where you can learn from guys that have been in the business for a long time. Seeing a guy like L.A. Knight starting to get over big time. I mean, he's been in the business for years. He's not like an overnight success. He has learned. He's really put a lot of time into crafting his position, and he's doing a great job. And some young guys can really learn from him. He never gave up on his dream, on his goal, on his passion. Let's see. Gabriel asked me, did Little Richard ever reach out to you? No, he didn't. But I met his driver, who is actually a friend of mine now. His name is Santini, and he was a driver for Little Richard. And when he told me this story, he said Little Richard loved watching you. He would get such a kick out of it. That made me so happy because I got pictures of Little Richard holding a poster of me. Let me see if I can find it real quick. It'd be kind of funny if I could show this to you guys. He's holding a poster of me at his concerts, and he would say, "They say he's pretty as me," and he said, "No one's pretty as me." And he'd rip up the picture, and I always thought that was hilarious. Let me see if I can just find it real quick. I won't spend much time on this. If I can, I can't. But let me see here. Let's see. Little Richard, where is he? I mean, if you could see when they made me in comic books, like this was me in a comic book. I don't know if you could see that. Okay. No. So many people thought I was black, and to this day, someone just wrote to me the other day, goes, "Mark, you ruined my childhood. I thought you were black," and just to get a laugh out of it. But let me give to, let's see, Little Richard, where are you? Where are you? Oh, I'm sorry, guys. It's got so many pictures on here from when I wrestled that it's hard just to pull up. I know I passed this somewhere. Let's see. Anyways, I really was so glad to hear that story about Little Richard that he really enjoyed. Oh, here it is. Okay. There's Little Richard holding a poster of me at one of his concerts. And he brought it up on stage and he ripped it up and said, "They say he's pretty. He's not as pretty as me." So, anyway, that was kind of a cool story. Flower said, "Are you going to do more letters to Marc? I keep watching the letter of that girl from Australia, and I love it so much. You know, I get letters every single day, and sometimes I share them on social media. Some are very private, and I usually get permission to share something, or I just don't use their name or where they're from or anything. I never want to offend anybody. But I did do a program. I did do a thing for a while where I was doing letters to Marc, and I may do that again. Time is the hardest thing for me. It's like I'm really enjoying this time off for summer, trying to spend more time with my family and go up to my brother's lake house and just go boating and enjoy myself. My life's going by so fast, and I got to stop sometimes and just say no to everybody and just enjoy family. All right. Bradley says, "Hi, Marc. Thank you for being the speaker of Champion of Choices. What was your biggest story you have ever told, and how does it inspire others to make better choices?" I mean, I think the story, and the only reason I say this is I have a lot of different stories I share at schools. The story about my mom, because it's gone viral, and so many kids recognize me from that, which is such a nice thing. I mean, millions of people have saw that video. So I think that thing is, I get so many letters from parents that say, my son or daughter came home from school today and told me how much they loved me and how sorry they were for the way they've been treating me, or something like that, because they see the impact that the Mother's Love video had on them. So that's always kind of cool to see that. Okay, let's see. Let me see. Let me see if Kimberly sent me some more here. Who was one point you wish? Okay, got that one. All right. I think I got all her questions answered. Oh, guys, I tell you, I'm going to try and do more of these. I really enjoy this, and getting the chance to just chat with you guys and say hello. And every day I put something up on my social media. I hope you guys follow me here on Facebook, Twitter, or I guess it's called X now, on X. It's going to take me a while to get used to saying that. On Instagram, TikTok. I'm on all of them, Team Sonez, I'm a teacher in a kindergarten class. I think your speeches could change some of their lives. Many students are from Syria and have seen unspeakable things. Have you been to Canada since the pandemic? I have been to Canada, and we do a lot of Indian reservations in Canada. We get offered to do a lot of Indian, which I really enjoy doing. There's a lot of issues that the Native Canadians and Native Americans are going through. It's very sad, but my programs really starts around the 5th or 6th grade. It's a kindergarten is a little young for my program, only because it's very powerful. Not that these kids that may have seen unspeakable things couldn't identify with, but most kids at that age, it's very, very emotional for them. So we try to stay around the 5th, 6th grade up to college level. The one good thing Susie Q says, the one good thing about social media is that we can connect with each other. There are some really good connections with social media that we can help encourage each other. And that's what I use it for. And I hope many of you use it for. It's just sad because I meet so many kids that are just bullied so much. They can't even go on social media and just interact with other students without kids mocking them or making fun of them. My heart goes out to, I tell you, I feel their pain. And I really try to befriend a lot of these kids and let them know that there's so many people like myself that care for them and love them. AOC Racing says, does Rocco prefer belly rubs or walks? He's not big on the belly rub. Rocco's not like a real needy dog. He loves going on walks. Oh my gosh, he does his little spin. I mean, Rocco's going to be 14 years old coming up, and I get to spend so much time with him during the summer. So I take him everywhere I go, just about. Every day he's going on walks with me or hanging out with me. So he gets so used to it that it's hard when I travel. I miss him, but you know, uh, we all know that he's becoming a senior dog, and when you watch a lot of TikTok or um, Instagram, whatever, they show these dogs that are at the end of their life, and it's so sad. I know it's going to be tough for me when that time comes, but right now I just want to be real positive and loving my boy every day. Um, did Rocco catch a squirrel yet? No, that's a big no. And chances are, as he's slowing down, a squirrel would have to just about come up and lay down for him at this point. Okay, I haven't seen a squirrel want to do a job for him yet, so we'll see. Oh, anyways, guys, I think I'm gonna wrap this up now. You can always write to me on my social media platforms. Thank you. And Kimberly L on here. If you guys got any other questions, you can write to her on if I could come out to your school. We are scheduling now. Our September is starting to fill up already. And our October, we're going to be going all over, man. Like I said, we're going to, this year, it's going to be kind of cool. We're going to the UK, to Ireland. We're going to Puerto Rico. I hope to go back to Guatemala too this year, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes and how everything turns out. I just want all you guys to stay safe, build and strengthen the relationships you have, guys. At the end of life, at the end of our lives, we're not going to care how many followers we had. We're not going to care about what someone said on social media. We're going to want to be with our family. Strengthen those relationships. Have a great night, you guys. I love you. Thanks.